What is happening, everybody? My name is Brightlife. This is my fancy shirt. Yes, I do look like your grandma's curtains. I don't want to hear about it. And I do want to talk today about my experience on the Before the Shadow beta. I had the chance to play the Bull Roarer server this last week. Had a ton of fun on stream. If you were there, you know that it almost broke me, but not because of the game. It was just a great time. We had a lot of fun. LOTRO, if you ever make me that stressed again, I will become a Star Wars The Old Republic player. So you have no idea how fast. Oh no. Okay, let's take an IQ test, right? And I do want to just talk about my first impressions. What did I think? What did I think was missing? What did I think was great? And just spoiler alert, it was really, really well done. I think it was awesome. I thought that the new zones are great. I'll talk all about it, but it was really, really exciting. And it makes me excited for the future of this game. Now, quick caveat before we jump into it, I did not touch the story at all. In fact, I made it a point not to even watch the intro cutscenes, and I didn't want to know anything that was going on in the story. We will be playing this game on the release date. We're going to be having a blast going through the story together, reading them all in our silly voices and stuff like that. So I am really, really excited for that. So of course, didn't touch the story, so not going to touch on that at all. But I just want to talk about the zones. I want to talk about the starting experience. I want to talk about kind of what I noticed as I played this game. And so let's jump into it with number one, which is that the starting experience is exactly what is needed. Now, to explain what I mean, the beginning of this mini expansion, when it first was announced, I heard that there was going to be a brand new level 1 to 32 experience. And I really was thinking back to that Exile's Reach area in World of Warcraft, which is an island that takes you from levels 1 to 10. It teaches you the systems of the game. It kind of gives you an alternate experience that allows a player with zero experience to level pretty quickly through, understand the game, and then jump into it. And the veteran player has a little bit of an alternative and faster experience to level through their, alt players as well. Well, one thing that LOTRO has done in the past when it's released zones is it has told people about it on the forums. It has told people about it, the insiders that follow on Twitter, but it hasn't told those new and existing players about it very well. And so places like the Yondershire, they kind of just dropped it there, and it wasn't really a part of the main story. It wasn't a part of the first experience. So for me personally, when I first played through this game, I really disliked the Lone Lands, to be honest with you. And I had no idea that you could play through the Yondershire. I had no indication. There was no quest sending me there. It was just kind of dropped there. And what I was really worried about whenever I first came into this was, is that going to be the case for this? Is this just going to be like a, hey, if you know kind of a thing? And that would really fail. Well, the good news is SSG is obviously much smarter than me, and they don't dress like their grandma's curtains. And what's great about it is at the character creation screen, there are 3 options. There is the option to do the Shadows of Angmar beginning, which is the normal beginning with the Shire and Archit and all that, and the zone that shall not be named. And then there's a second experience button that you can click that's just the Before the Shadow experience button. And then there is actually a third one now as well, which is really cool, which is just skip the tutorial. So, if you're like me and you've played through the tutorial a number of times, you can literally just skip that, jump right into the leveling experience in Archit, in the Shire, and, nowhere else, because there is nowhere else to level in the starting experience. Thank you very much. But this system is easy. It's integrated right into the character creation screen. It makes sense. And I really appreciated this. I think this obviously took a lot of coding to do. This is a big change, I'm sure, for the character creation backend process, to where the game actually has to drop you in a specific place based on your choice, not just, your preset class choice. And so I commend SSG for doing this. This is a huge win. This is a, 2 big thumbs up right off the bat. I love this. This is great. This is awesome. All right, number 2, and really the thing that I was most excited about, and just in reality is going to be so cool, is these zones are absolutely beautiful. These zones are absolutely beautiful. I would go out on a limb and say that I think that Lord of the Rings Online probably creates some of the best zones in any MMO. I mean, they just do a great job with it. They know how to create a draw distance that makes you feel like you're in a grand adventure. They know how to create spaces where you just stop and look and you go, man, this looks great. And these zones do such a great job of telling the story of where they are. Of course, with Swanfleet, you're kind of a little bit near the Shire, but you're really in that Western Eregion space. So you get this really cool Riverlands kind of a space, kind of a vibe, but then you also get some of these cool old ruins that you can go explore. And I found myself just seeing things in the distance and wanting to just go and explore that thing. What's that on top of that hill? What's that castle over there? They really leaned into it this time, and they did a great job. They actually, in Swanfleet, even at one point I was running and I recognized, hey, this is a jumping puzzle. They just put a jumping puzzle right here in the middle of the map, and it was awesome to try to do that and to have a lot of fun with stream to do that. But these zones just are awesome. They look immaculate, they play great, they feel big and expansive and full of story. I'm really excited to actually go through the story and the quests of these games, because even as you rolled up on some towns, you're like, ooh, this looks kind of desolate. I wonder what the story is here. Again, I don't know yet because I'm not going to spoil it for myself before it comes out, but they just look great. And I think that Swanfleet is probably my favorite just because it has such a great vibe of like a riverland space with like, you know, some urukai and stuff like that going through it. Just totally my thing. But I'm not going to knock Cardolan. I mean, Cardolan had some really impressive differentiations between the zones. There's actually an old forest south now, so we get to see an extension of the old forest. Looks absolutely awesome. There's kind of an extension of the Barrow Downs as well, where again, I want to know the story, I want to experience it. Some of the old ruins in Cardolan look great. So absolutely, like, hats off to the devs. And of course, they do this every time with great zones because they're phenomenal at creating zones. But these zones look really good. And my first impression is, if you were worried about, are these zones just going to be average? I think they're way above average. At this point, based on just the visuals alone, I would give each of them like an A or an S tier, just because they look really awesome. Again, I think that my favorite zones tell a great story. It's why Angmar is one of my favorite zones, because it is a creepy, desolate, you don't want to be there place. And I like that. I like that it tells the story of what it is, just like the Shire is one of my favorite because it tells the story of what it is, as, you know, the zone tells the story of the story even. It seems like if Swanfleet and Cardolan can nail the story and make it make sense why they feel the way they do, these will easily be in some of my top 5 zones that I've played through in this game. All right, and going along with that is number 3, which is that LOTRO is leaning into its Vistas, which is a great thing. This is one of those games that as you play it, and as you watch content creators like myself play it for the first time, and other content creators as well, they will always talk about, like, you'll turn a corner in Rivendell and just go like, holy cow, look at this vista. Like, all of a sudden you're around the corner and it's just beautiful land and layout. This is obviously very intentional. And of course, when we talk about old school LOTRO like Archit and, you know, Bree, there are some vistas, but there really aren't that many. In this one, it allows the new player or the returning player to have a phenomenal experience where the zone itself rewards you for actually going and exploring. I found a number of times where I went and just explored up a tower, and then all of a sudden they give you like this massive panoramic view of the zone. It was perfect. It was beautifully well done. It was awesome. I again commend SSG for this because they lean into their vistas. They know this is a strength that they have. They know that this is something their players love. And if you come to my stream, you know that when we see a vista, we use the chicken drive emote because it is the best emote in the world. Be sure to stop by whenever this game comes out because we are going to be chicken driving all night long. It's going to be an awesome time and it's beautiful. All right, and fourthly, the enemy variety is really cool here. There are actually a lot of new types of mobs and enemies, and some of like the mobs and the enemies like orcs, they actually have some really cool skins to them where like one of them looked like they were on fire. The urukai have like the white hand on them, which of course you'd probably get in the Isengard expansion. I don't know because I level like a snail, and I've been playing for like how many months now? 5 months and I'm not to Isengard yet. I don't want to talk about it. I level very slow, but they look really cool to see them here at level 1. Right at the beginning, you're fighting urukai, which feels great. And I know that you're going to be traveling along with Boromir in the story in some way, fighting urukai. And I think that for a newer player that's coming into the Lord of the Rings Online, you know, the orc is the enemy, right? Like the orc is the big enemy of Lord of the Rings. And in the normal starting experiences, you're not really getting to kill orcs until around like the Lone Lands time. Well, now you get to kill them right away, which again, I know that for you and I that have gone through like Moria and we've gone through Angmar, that's pretty second hat to us. Like we've done it before, but for a new player, I think it's going to make them want to stick with the game longer because they feel like they're automatically fighting that enemy that they really are playing Lord of the Rings to fight, right? And so hats off to SSG, great job, absolutely great job. All right, and then lastly, I do want to talk about the delving system. Now, I did not utilize the delving system while I was playing. Again, I kind of want to get into that naturally because a lot of these missions from the Before the Shadow space involve the story, and I don't want to do that at all. But I did get to look at a lot of the rewards, and they are really, really cool. You get really decent gear sets. They start at level 50, they go all the way up to level 140. The cloaks that you can actually get a best-in-slot cloak just from the delving system. And what's really cool is it actually seems like the delving system is not just going to be an end game feature. It looks like it actually might be accessible through the missions at the beginning. I'm not quite sure on that, but it looks really well done. I think that just experiencing the idea that you can actually get raid tier gear in solo play is such a great move on SSG's part. And again, it's very innovative. Not a lot of other games are doing stuff like this. And so this makes me really excited. This makes me feel like they're actually doing something very innovative in one of their new systems where they're taking the Mythic Plus idea, but allowing you to do solo play through the Mythic Plus system. 2 massive thumbs up to SSG. Great job, you guys. Let's keep that going because I think that's wonderful. Now, I will say a couple gripes that I have. The first gripe that I have, just that I've noticed as I played through this, was when you look at the patch notes for the delving system, it says that you're limited to 10 delves a day. So essentially, you can do 10 of these runs a day and then you're going to be capped out. I think you should remove this. This is like a MMO in general thing, but for some reason MMO developers have kind of like gotten it into their heads that if they don't restrict the amount of times that you can grind for gear, that the casual player is going to just get their gear and then leave. That's not really the case. The casual player is not going to want to grind 20, 30, 40, 50 times of a delve a day so that they can get their character up to gear to play with their friends. These are the people that are typically already committed. And so I would love to see them just remove that cap. Just if someone wants to spend 24 hours running delves and getting raid gear, more power to them. Like, that's fine. Like, who cares? Because they're probably doing that for the purpose of playing raids with their friends up to, you know, the tier 4 and tier 5 raids at the end game. I personally just think they should remove that. I think they should make that super simple, do away with it, make it simple. And then my only other little gripe with the delving system, this is just a personal thing. They're probably going to change this, but the cloak rewards are just awful. They're really terrible. If this is going to be a best in slot cloak, I think they should really make it like epic and make it awesome. But that's just me. It's more of like a personal taste thing. But otherwise, I really think that this game looks good, at least in the bull roar that I saw. Again, didn't see the story. I know that's going to be a big part of it, but from what I saw about the zones, what I experienced about looking at the enemy types, the vistas, all that stuff, this really is shaping out to be an awesome mini expansion, and I hope that you've been able to get your hands on it. Now, if you have not gotten your hands on the mini expansion, please know that on my stream every single Thursday, we are going to be doing a giveaway of Before the Shadow. All you have to do is be there. We play marbles on stream. Whoever wins gets the expansion. It's been a lot of fun, so if you'd like to come by and just hang out with us on Thursdays, links in the description down below. You can follow me on Twitter, you can follow me on Twitch, and then just jump in when we go live. But friends, that about wraps it up for my quick first impressions of the Before the Shadow zones. Tell me what you think. Do you like it? Are you excited about it? Are they missing some things for you? Let me know in the comments down below. I really love reading every single one of those and interacting with most of those. So thank you guys so much for your comments down below. Hey, if you liked the video, please hit that like button. It really does help me in the algorithm get seen by more LOTRO lovers out there. If you loved the video, hit that subscribe button. Lets me know to make more content. By the way, thank you so much for all your great support lately on that one. This channel has grown like mad, and it's all because of you guys. So thank you so very much. I want to say a massive shout out to our patrons. Thank you guys so very much for helping this channel not just survive, but also thrive. You guys are absolutely wonderful. If you'd like to join our Patreon, you do get these videos early. So thank you guys so much for what you do. You guys are absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for the wonderful support. And friends, as always, the last 2 things that I say at the end of every video are the most important thing that I could possibly say ever, which is that you are more loved than you know, and you are so much more valuable than you realize. I hope you have an incredible day, and I will see you in the next one. Hey, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it. I want to let you know a couple ways to connect with me. First of all, we got an awesome Discord in the description. We've got a Patreon if you'd like to give to the channel and help support more video creation. And I am live on Twitch quite often over at twitch.tv/brightlifecommunity. Would love to see you there. Always love interacting on those live video streams. But I hope you have an incredible day, my loved and valued friend. Have an awesome one.